Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about 3%, Season 2, Episode 9. It is Chapter 9, it is called Necklace. And I panicked for a second there because I'm looking at it in Portuguese. I went, what does that mean? Luckily, I got the, colar. I'm like, okay, that gets to necklace quite easily. I can see where that came from.
Collar.
Yeah. Well, no,
Sure.
but it's spelt with one L. I'm saying it in what I'm assuming it's pronounced in Portuguese.
No. But I agree. I'm saying if I'm looking at it and linking it to necklace, collar, collar.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Obviously,
that was what I was saying.
Oh yeah, obviously you go through those steps to get to that. Yeah, I think it's collar.
Yeah, no, I wasn't correcting your pronunciation.
Okay, right, okay. So, necklace. That's the episode title. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And also, apologies, there's been a big gap between this episode review and the last review. Mainly, there's a couple of things, because normally we've been getting 2 a week out, typically up until this point. There was meant to be 1 a week ago, but the recording got cancelled. So then that's why there's a big gap here. So, apologies for that, but here we are. So this is the episode 9, this is the penultimate episode of the season, and it was a big one. It was a big one, and obviously on the inland, everything's kind of building up to this plan between Raphael and Joanna and Fernando, and then on the offshore, we're getting deep into this the backstory of the trio, the founding trio that became the founding couple, and kind of what the story is there, and some wonderful correlations between that, because I love that. In the flashbacks we get, because in the little bunker that we're in now with Andre, I'm just remember the brother's name, and Michelle, they're in there and they're watching the playback of the communications from before that happened 100 and something years ago.
7.
Was it 2 years before the first process?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we find out that there was like a dispute, and I liked how this kind of turned into almost one of the games. It was like a puzzle to solve. It was like because the third one, what was her name again? Samira.
Samira.
Yeah. I'm glad I asked you.
I panicked for a second.
Yeah, Samira. Her father's like this big investor, and they're sort of like bankrolling this entire endeavor. And it's like, no, things are getting unstable in the mainland. We have to come. And what was funny about all this flashback stuff is that I think up until now, but I've not really spoken. I mean, I think when the show started, we spoke a little bit about how, okay, so what's the rest of the world like in this universe? Like, because this is just Brazil, right? Like, you know. But at the same time, whenever they talk about it, it does feel like this is all of the world that there is. There's never any mention of like other countries. There's never any mention of anything else. And in this flashback specifically, they refer to it as, oh, like we can't do that to the world. Like they actually say that when they're talking about messing up with the inland. So it's almost, I think more than ever, I'm kind of convinced this kind of takes place in its own little pocket universe where it's just this society and there's nothing else.
I agree.
Which is fine. If that's what you want to do with your sci-fi, that's fine.
Yeah. But no, lots of fascinating things here where just even before we get into anything, their discussion, there's no talk of, 3%. They want to move everyone here. Yeah,
there's talk of that, and then but there is like some talk that comes up of almost the idea of being worthy. It does come up naturally, sort of through the debate.
It does as the debate unfolds. Opinions reveal themselves. But at first, the way they talk about it is like, no, we're going to get this ready. It'll be sustainable, and everyone can come here.
Yeah, and it's not sustainable because it's rushed, basically, and because one of the founding members isn't going to be here for much longer, essentially. And we learn that the father and the other rich guys and the other rich families want to come over just now because things are getting dangerous. And we hear that the city's sinking, and it's like, oh, that makes sense because now it's like proper sunk. Like they process buildings on top of a cliff essentially now, because the city's sunk down. And it's like, oh, there's war, there's all these things going on. We have to come. We have to do this now. And he's like, kick off the others. Kick off anyone who's not part of like our family or the other investors. Like, get rid of them. And it's like, okay, we're not going to do that. Samira's like, no, I agree with you guys. I believe in the offshore. We're not doing this. We'll sabotage the submarine to stall them.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that won't stall us for long. Eventually when we see him again, like we're going to come and force everyone else out. We're going to do it by force. And this debate comes where the others have this idea, oh, we can disable like their entire financials. It's all digital, and their electricity. We can disable all of that. We can blow up this plant.
It tells us how the world at the moment, at this point in time in the flashbacks, is very much just a regular society, what we think of now, give or
Yeah,
take.
yeah, maybe a little bit more advanced. It doesn't sound like there's any kind of like. It sounds like they've moved completely to a digital infrastructure. There's just
Yeah.
completely like they're away from paper money, by the sounds of it. And everything
I mean,
else.
we're not that far away.
We're not, but I'm just, at least now, if something happened that knocked out all the electricity, you could still go in with some money that you had in your wallet and get something, presumably.
You could, but I mean, how long does that last you till the banks start refusing that? Because obviously we're not on a gold standard anymore. So what they're measuring it against is like, well, it's kind of worthless. It just becomes paper.
Oh, sure. I got the impression it was a bit more advanced than what we were at.
Yeah, a little bit, but not significantly, I don't think.
Just because when we see them setting up, they've got their fancy drones and they've got this living like data bank. It's like a bioorganic.
Yeah. It
storage.
feels like the classic in the next 20 years sort of sci-fi.
In the near future kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they come up with this plan. We can overload this plan and that'll send out an EMP. It'll destroy all of the electricity. It's like, wait, holy shit! They're actually going to. Like, the inland's bad right now from the sounds of it, but they're going to essentially create what it becomes. These other two, they're going to like take away all the power, take away all the resources, and leave them as in the slums that we now know it as. And it's like, damn, they're actually responsible for this. And obviously, Samir's like, no, like, we're not going to do this at the expense of everyone else. The point of this is not to punish others. The point of this is not to, put ourselves above others, So,
yeah.
It becomes this ideological debate, and what do we always say about this show? It's at its best when these debates start to crop up.
I think what I find most interesting about this is she's the one from the rich family, so traditionally we'd expect her to be the one being the selfish one.
It's actually
it's the two from the poorer family, who've come from kind of the slums, so to speak.
Yeah, and
they talk about the sewers.
The two things that come from this is one, they criticize her and say you don't understand what it means to actually have built this. You'll go back to a nice life anyway because of who you are, and then so arguably there's some jealousy there. But then on top of that, you get this almost vendetta, this vengeance of like, no, now we have created something for us. We're going to take it, and all this is built in the founding couple. They taught us this, they taught us that, and ultimately it's all a lie. All of it's a lie. They did this, and I also like the idea that. Even though I don't think what Joanna and co are doing in present day is anywhere near as bad as this, I do think there's some nice correlations of the idea of we're just going to destroy their infrastructure so they can't do it. They're essentially doing the same plan, not in a dangerous way per se.
No, because they're only taking out the infrastructure to recruit new people essentially. Yes. They're not crippling their power supply, their water.
I couldn't help but ignore that the plan's kind of similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no. Definitely is.
And I like that. And I also like that eventually when we find out that, Andre did kill someone, he killed someone to cover this. So this is the big sort of dramatic point from this episode is that he's actually really devout for the offshore. Yeah. He thoroughly believes in it to the point that he was willing to kill someone because the person, the guy he sort of worked with was going to like, oh, we have to start making amends for this. Like, and I like that about him that he immediately was like, hey, this is all based on a lie. We have to start. We've made these people suffer. We've
for 100 odd years.
Yeah, because I think the belief up until now is that they're not doing this at the expense of the people in the inland. This is just like there's only enough to go around here, but now it turns out no, it's only enough because of how it went down in the past.
Yeah.
So
essentially, it's like we need to pay reparations.
Yeah, because that's the thing is Samira at one point is like, okay, we'll come back to the inland, but we'll start to build a new version of the offshore there that everyone can start to be a part of. We'll start to recreate it there as well. But the other two are like, no, we can't do that. We've built this little island that's away from everyone else. We can,
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of the idea of corruption and the temptation and all these other things where. It all comes down to greed and how these people, the greedy ones, and the idea that the process was essentially formed out of the poor population's greed to want something better and to not have other ones to have it.
It's the idea that the 3% chance something to strive for, and that chance is better than just the certainty of nothing. Well,
yeah, but that's kind of we learn that's all kind of bullshit here.
No, but I think even from I think from their perspective as well, the idea of Because at first, there isn't really a conversation of worthiness, right? There isn't anything, but until they're like, no, we proved ourselves. Essentially, they feel like they proved themselves worthy to be here because they built this place, right? And the rich people want to just come in and kick them off. Whereas level, of course, part of it is the revenge, get back, but then to set up the structure going on, it's okay. Well, we can sustain this many, right? So. What they're doing is giving the poor people an equal shot with the rich.
Yeah, but you still see this as a negative, though, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because I mean, ultimately, everyone could have had this.
Now,
admittedly,
of course, yeah.
the rich benefactors, the ones investing in this, were almost going to ruin it as well. Like, that is worth mentioning. Like, they might have screwed this all up for everyone anyway. And you could argue, if you want to play the devil's advocate, that by stealing it and turning it into the process and turning it into this way, they at least kept it from the ones who were just going to take it because they were rich.
Yeah, they can go, well, their argument. Well, again, I'm not saying they were right. I'm saying I understand their argument in that they were saying they're going to come over here and just destroy it. They're going to do exactly what they did in Inland, and this place will be destroyed in however many years. So like 3% is better than none.
But the tragedy is that Samira's shooting for the moon. She's like, no, we don't have to do this, and she tries to take them by force. And she pulls out the gun. They struggle a little bit, and she's the one who gets shot. And that's how it becomes the couple. And
I will say my only complaint with this scene there is that she died so instantly after that gunshot. There was not a single moment. It was just like, oh, she's dead.
What I like about this though is that the entire the entire thing being that no, we're going to have this at the expense of others. That is the scene. They're going to have this offshore now at the expense of her life. And similarly, afterwards, when we find out that Marcella knows about all this, that Andre told her all this, and she knows this and is still willing to uphold this, the idea that some of them, and this kind of lines up with her family and Marco and their kind of arrogance, is that no, like, we earned this, and that's Andre's thing, is that no, like, the struggle, the suffering is what makes them strong. It's what makes people have character. And
again, that's essentially what the founding couple came to at the point at their end is no, we deserved this. We built this, so this is for us. The rich don't just get it by right. They should come and earn it as like we did.
Yeah, but very selfishly, because instead of everyone should just get this.
Of course,
equally. They're like, no. You have to earn it. You have to cross this barrier to do it. Never question the idea, well, if someone just has this from birth, what can they be? And I think that's kind of the prejudice coming in, is they look down on Samira because she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, therefore she can't possibly understand or be equal to us. And it's almost like this reverse, this flip prejudice, where now they look down on her because she can't possibly...
She doesn't have to strive like we did.
But it's funny because she is the one who's the most sound of mind and is the one who's speaking the most sense, I think, in a completely objective kind of. This is what we can do. Everyone can have this. We just have to do this, and we have to not rush. We have to, and so on. So, very good. It was all ideological debate. It was like them solving a puzzle. It was all the best things of the show, but just in a different context, out of the context of the process, kind of like a lot of this season's been doing here or there.
Yeah.
It was kind of that stuff, and this was intercutting with Andre and the revelation that Michelle realizes that he did do this, and then he, as he remembers, he becomes even more devout, and he's like not apologetic at all. He's like, no, this had to be done. So,
I think it's funny that Marcella wiped his memory when he's essentially a good devout little soldier for her.
Yeah, I think it's
lost that resource.
I think it's the idea that she just didn't trust him to never tell someone.
Yeah.
And she's like the ultimate devout, and she's like, no, I'm going to wipe his mind so that it's just me.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
That feeling of power. And Michelle takes the necklace, which is kind of like the rings. It's technology. There's this sort of like necklace with a little seashell on the end of it. And we'll see what she does with that next episode. But she does, of course, hear. She actually hears the others who have got the plan, Raphael, Fernando, and Joanna. She hears them formulating their plan and getting into place. So presumably she's going to end up helping with this.
Yeah, I thought it was obviously they can hear the radio signals, right? Yeah. And given that we've been told, okay, no radio signals can get in and out of the island.
Except from this place.
Except from this place, yeah. They've got this technology. They're in on every frequency, like listening to everything. It's the ultimate spy trap.
Yeah, so I'm assuming she's going to help Raphael. Like I assume at this point the line's been drawn in the sand. This ideological line.
I think she goes back to their side. Yeah.
Yeah, but between it's funny because I think it's early on in this season we were debating, okay, who's on what side, who's going to fall on what side, and I think it's interesting that all of our main characters seem to be falling on the side of no, the process is bad and we have to
eventually
change this.
Yeah.
But all of it's felt really natural in how we've gotten there with each of them.
It
makes sense why she feels this way now, because she's like, no, this process made you a killer. It's made me a killer as well. But by existing and creating the cause, I have now become this. But I think it's interesting that I feel like obviously Raphael still sees himself as part of the cause. I think the rest of them ultimately see themselves as a neutral kind of ground, or I see them as that anyway. Because I feel like the cause itself, especially when we talk about Silas, I mean obviously he's dead now, but I feel like the leadership of the cause were again very vengeful and very, they almost became the new founding couple.
No, I agree. They're all just anti the process rather than anti the concept itself. I think you would talk about how all their motivations line up to to how we've fallen them all on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fernando's the only one that's maybe a little bit flimsier than the others. Because everyone else, I've really understood their motivations. It's been going on a long time, setting up how we've got to this point. Whereas Fernando was, he doesn't really care that much one way or the other. He didn't really like the process. He was outspoken, but he wasn't anywhere near wanting to do anything until he thought he was betrayed by his friend. And it's like, well, okay, that happened, so I guess we should shut this down.
I'll debate that a little bit with just that he seemed to be really into helping Joanna before that happened.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Because the betrayal that he thinks happened didn't happen till after he was helping with the radio and all that. Because he already had the radio in his chair and...
he was helping a bit, but he was never devout, I don't think.
Oh, not devout. He's certainly amped up. I think it's a point, though, once he's inside and then he's talking to Raphael. Because the episode opens with them talking to each other over the walkie-talkie. And Joanna's there. And I like that, again, it mirrors the founding trio with them. Because at the start of the episode in the flashbacks, they're talking about how they're all 100% behind the offshore and we're all committed to doing this. This was kind of the same thing, where at the end of it, like, we all have to be sure we're in on this, and we all have to agree that this is what the best thing is. And they all, it's a trio, it's the three of them, and it makes me wonder if we actually get to a point where one of them says, no, we should do this a different way, for some reason.
Well, I think what's interesting is once you bring Michelle in, it becomes 4. Do one of the characters die at the end of this season, so that going into next season
as a trio,
which we didn't really mention, did get announced earlier today.
Oh yeah, it's been renewed. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good news.
That's a thing. So going into that, we have the trio to really parallel that story. Now that we've got that established.
Or I don't know. I wonder if it's a trio until Michelle's involved as well, and then this is where things change because now it can be a split. Like, let's say 2 of them agree that we should do something differently. Then it's like an even sides thing.
No, it's possible, but how do you solve that? At least with the 3, you can go, well, it's 2 against 1. I mean, they didn't go down that way for the trio.
Well, I think that's the point, though, is that you can't just do it by force. But there's 2 of us, so now like we strong arm the other one into agreeing, or in that case, accidentally kill them. Now it's like, no, we have to somehow come to an agreement because it's 50-50.
Okay.
And I think that's maybe where they go with that. I don't know. I think what would be interesting is if it's Raphael is the one who ultimately says, no, we have... whatever the situation might be, if he's the one who ultimately disagrees with the others, it's interesting because much like how Samira was the one who was against the plan, you can either look at it as he's the one who was actually with the cause, whereas Fernando and Joanna weren't until kind of recently.
Yeah,
or
and
you could
also
argue
he's the one that's actually
in the offshore.
On the offshore, yeah. He's the one that's got the privilege already.
Yeah, so I can see there'll be some nice correlations with that. But I thought all that stuff was really interesting. I liked how all of the trio stuff kind of mirrored what was going on with some of the other debates that were happening in the episode. It was kind of a nice touch.
It was, yeah.
With that. And we see that they're setting up the plan, and he sneaks Joanna inside a fridge.
Yeah, a bit of a dick move. And he's like, right, okay, it's this temperature. You can survive 40 minutes in there. Don't worry, I've set an alarm so you won't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Comes up, the alarm goes off. He goes to get her. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait a bit longer. And then she's like, "What, are you kidding?" And it's like, "Yeah, you'll be fine." I'm like, "You just told her you can't survive longer than this alarm."
Maybe he was being overly cautious, so he still thought there was like a variance that he could work within.
Yeah. And then she comes out and she touches him. She's like, "Oh, your hands are cold." No shit, she's been in a fridge for 45
I thought that was funny
minutes.
though. I thought it was funny she touched him in the back of the neck. from behind,
Yeah.
and he just freaked out because it was like this like, ice cold hand.
Yeah. It's like, you know, when you put a cold can on your mate's neck, right?
Yeah.
But
No, I thought it was quite funny. There's a lot of little things I liked, but I liked later on when Raphael goes in to give Fernando the you know the ring and the plans to go and do his thing. I liked when he's like shouting in his face, but he gives him this little wink just as he puts the thing under his seat. I was like, it's really nice to have them all working together for a common goal. It's because they've so often been like against each other. There's something really nice about bringing them all together like this, behind one side. And of course, I think it'll be interesting Michelle coming into the group now with the knowledge she has about how this is all bullshit. Because I feel like up until now, it's all been about her brother, and that kind of turned out to be a lie. Like Holler, because she even has it's a really good moment actually, where she says, "I used to believe in you." You know, so I believe in something. What do you believe in? Well, it used to be you. I feel like
no.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that is the interesting thing. She doesn't have a cause right now. You know, everyone else they're actually against the offshore. They're against the process because, you know, for varying reasons that we'll already discuss. But she isn't necessarily. I
think she is now.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think that debate with her brother kind of put her on that side.
Okay.
Because she's like, you know, F the offshore, let's get out of here. And then he's like, you know, devout, you know, want to defend it. No, we need to stay here, blah, blah, blah. I think learning that all this is based on a lie and that the inland was literally screwed over by the offshore, I think that's what gives her the ideology. I think that's what puts her on a side. Okay,
fair enough. I was getting more, you know, when she's like, no, screw the officer, let's get out of here. I was more just getting the idea that she was, you know, back to, she wants to do her own thing. She doesn't care.
Oh yeah, but that's before she learns all of it, though. That was before she learned about the actual, no, they caused this. They caused the city to sink. They caused us to lose power and everything else.
Fair. Yeah.
I see that as being her, like, because I think that's the point, is like, she's like, I used to believe in you, and I think, I mean, maybe she won't be quite there yet, but I think that's the journey for her. If she isn't already there, come next episode, I think the journey for her is she'll believe in something. She'll believe in a cause.
I definitely think that's her journey, but I don't think she was there at this point. I don't think this is the spark, rather than, you know, that's where she is now.
We'll see where she goes next episode, because I can see her wanting to help the others, and whether or not she's doing it because that's her friends and that's who she cares about now. You know, she's sort of shifting from, okay, I cared about my brother, now I've got these people that I care about. You know, maybe that's where she goes with it. But because she's kind of bonded with all of them. She was close with Fernando last season. She kind of bonded with Joanna a little bit before she stole the bomb. There's some stuff there.
Yeah.
And her and Raphael have had a weird relationship, but there's definitely some camaraderie to a point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So that could be her motivation next episode before we have this. She's essentially Malcolm Reynolds. She's lost her cause. She has no belief. She's kind of just in limbo. And, you know, actually having something to fight for and believe in is maybe kind of the journey for her.
I agree with that, yeah.
He was also in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for the record.
It's been a while since you've had one of those.
And a TV review. I didn't use a lot, but...
Yeah, it's been a while since one in an actual review, though.
Yeah, I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Can't stop the signal.
Oh, God. You're off on it now. You've been started.
Firefly references left and right. And that was technically from the movie Serenity. Before anyone corrects me, I'm including it all as one package. Don't at me.
It's all one franchise.
Yes. So I like that. And obviously we had somebody sneaking in. I like the scene with when Marco shows up in front of Raphael. Because Raphael's not seen him yet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what? What? And then later on Marco's like, yeah, my mother, Marcella. And I liked how, like, he catches him off guard with that, and then he's like, what, she never mentioned me? And then Raphael kind of hits back a little bit. It's like, oh, we have no need for surnames on the offshore. And it's almost like a dig, like, yeah, you didn't get there. You wouldn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's what he says. It's like, no, it's because they're a reminder of the past, and we leave everything behind.
Yeah.
It's like, no, she left you.
It's a great little dig. I love, though, because Marco at one point says, yeah, I'm not one to hold grudges. And I'm like, oh, bullshit.
You are the definition of a grudge.
But he's very suspicious. He was checking the fridge. Luckily, Joanna already snuck out. She's by the way, can I just say how weird it is having her with her hair tied up? See, when she tied her hair up, I was like, my God, Joanna's hair can be tamed. I never thought it possible.
Weird, I agree.
Yeah, but she's sneaking around. She's doing her Die Hard. She's in the vents.
Yeah.
All the rest of it.
We had Gloria come to try and get Fernando out.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I know we had some problems with him believing she'd betrayed him. And I think that's fair.
Him learning it, that moment fell a bit flat for me because it played it as such a big deal.
Yeah, because of that. I like that he knows now, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that he knows now, but yeah, no, I think that's fair.
It's over and done with now, right?
But I think from her side, I do like that she cares so much. Like it bothers her that he thinks that, and she tries to help and tries to.
Yeah. I like that he's like, God damn it, not now. You screwed up my plan.
It's funny because she convinces the guard, like, hey, he's not a threat, let him out, and she's going to do it. And he's like, and I was thinking this, he's got a plan. He's supposed to be here so he can help with the plan. So he has to like just antagonize her so he'll be left in the cell. Yeah. No, it was pretty funny. So even in this episode, there was some humor stuff sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
That's been a fantastic episode. It's probably my favorite episode of the season. I think all of the stuff with the ideologies mixing, because I think the idea that the offshore started on a similar kind of corrupt debate where the greedy people kind of just took it, rather than actually solving the problem. Because like I think the whole thing with the process is like, oh, you have to come to these solutions to prove that you're worthy. But the people who started this never did that. They took the violent option. They took the layman's way out, if you will.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I think that's why it always works so that a lot of the process, it comes down to the violent backstabbing, right? Because it's like, well, it's actually in spirit of what it always was.
And the point being then that the entire thing is flawed and doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I like it. I love because we always like when it gets to the ideological debates. Obviously, we're expecting next episode to actually have the start of the process, the inauguration day.
The plan go down.
Yes. And we'll see. And obviously, it'll work out quite cool because we'll have Gloria in the crowd with the people. We'll have we'll have two characters because Raphael goes back to the offshore this episode because the data is backed up. They have to destroy it in both places at the same time.
Yeah, that bio thing.
Yeah. It's interesting though. He says he doesn't know what it looks like. He's never seen it. So I wonder if there'll be a little humour as they're trying to figure out, okay, what's the thing?
Yeah.
So interesting. Great debates. Big revelations. I think what's exciting about the founding trio stuff is that I was excited about it, and I think that it paid off. It paid off because it was in spirit with the show, where the entire thing was a debate. It was the ideological debate, and it was like kind of the origin debate that spawned the whole thing. Because it could have been like nothing to do with the debate. It would have just felt like, okay, it's the backstory with how this happened.
Which could have been interesting because I was, we were interested from the start of this season when they threw that revelation at us, and we were like, oh, okay, and we wanted to find more. And I think there's always a danger of delving into the past of your world that if it's not good enough, that you can ruin the mystique of what you actually have. But this here, because it played into the strength of the show, really just kind of ran with it and it nailed it.
Yeah, it felt thematically just so well suited to what the show is, because it basically became this is like one of the tests in the process in season 1, rather than in a room trying to solve it.
It's a great corruption of the idea that they were trying to change things, but ultimately now things are just the same as they were then.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, different people are in power, it kind of shifted things around, but it's the same again.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing, is it any solution just to flip the power around? Probably not. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you have to change it, so... it's exciting. That was really good. I'm really excited about the finale now, which will be coming this week. We're going to get it out before the end of the week, so look forward to that. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get us in the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over at patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there, and there's links over there for various things, all the shows we do, all the audio feeds we have. Of course, if you're listening to the audio feed of this, the Netflix audio feed, there's also another general TV one. There's stuff for the other shows. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?